Hey, deep divers, ready to tackle those everyday stresses and find some inner peace? We're diving into Zen Michael's How to Be Calmer. I think 25 articles just packed with mindfulness tips.
Yeah, and our mission is to uncover those techniques, the most unique, the most effective ones for your deep dive.
Okay, so Zen Michael starts by reminding us we don't need a fancy retreat or anything to find peace,
Yeah,
right? It's about finding those moments of calm in the everyday.
exactly.
He even suggests making your everyday walk a mindfulness exercise
Oh, wow.
by varying your pace and your stride.
Interesting.
Have you ever tried walking in slow motion?
I mean, it is fascinating how a shift in physical rhythm can really impact your mental state.
Right.
Slowing down, paying attention to the feel of your feet hitting the ground,
Surely.
it forces you to be present in that moment.
Yeah, it's like you shift from just being on autopilot to actually experiencing the walk.
Exactly. And he doesn't even stop there. He suggests walking with a faster pace, a wider stride, even imagining yourself as taller or shorter.
Yeah.
It's about breaking those ingrained patterns and bringing that mindful awareness to something we usually just take for granted.
And that's one of the things I love about this book. He takes these seemingly insignificant actions, like walking, drinking water, cleaning your glasses,
Right.
and he reveals this hidden potential for mindfulness.
It's about finding those moments of presence and peace in the midst of our routines.
Look at this, even something as mundane as drinking water can be a moment of Zen.
Really?
Zen Michael suggests focusing on the feel of the glass, the taste, taking it slow, almost like a mini meditation.
It's brilliant. It's like weaving that mindfulness into your routine.
And then he talks about mindful passwords.
Mindful password.
I know, right? Who knew passwords could be mindful?
I mean, what does that even look like?
So instead of using password 123,
Right.
you choose a word or phrase that evokes a sense of calm or inspires a positive mindset.
So instead of password 123,
It could be be here now,
oh, I see.
which reminds me to be more present.
Yeah, I love that.
So good.
It's like transforming those little moments when you're typically on autopilot into these mini opportunities for mindfulness.
Right.
It's subtle, but it can make such a difference.
Totally. And he even talks about the power of nature.
Okay.
He recommends listening to the sound of a flowing river.
Oh, like a recording.
Yeah, he actually provides links to recordings of different durations. There's 5 minutes, 15 minutes, even up to 3 hours.
Wow, okay.
Perfect for whatever your schedule allows.
Yeah.
He's all about finding these little moments of Zen in everyday life.
And it gets even more interesting.
I know where you're going with this Tibetan singing bowls.
Yes, he talks about how the sounds produced by these bowls can help quiet the mind.
I actually listened to one of the YouTube videos. He recommended a 15-minute track with these deep resonant tones.
Oh, wow.
Incredibly calming, I have to say.
It really is amazing how those kinds of sounds, can just shift your whole energy.
Yeah.
And speaking of shifting energy, Zen Michael also talks about this technique he calls the panoramic view.
Okay, tell me more about this panoramic view. Sounds kind of intriguing.
Yeah, so it's all about interrupting those racing thoughts that we all have by really slowing down and observing your surroundings without judgment.
Okay.
Almost like hitting the reset button on your mind.
So instead of getting caught up in my to-do list,
Yeah.
I could take a moment to just be present in my surroundings.
Exactly. And the key is to do it without judgment. Right.
Okay.
Don't get caught up in labeling things as good or bad or beautiful or ugly. Just observe with a sense of open curiosity.
I can see how that would be a really powerful way to create a sense of calm. It's like hitting pause on that constant chatter of the mind.
Precisely. And he suggests practicing it throughout the day whenever you feel those stress levels rising.
Definitely adding that to my toolkit.
Yeah,
Speaking of tools,
Yeah.
Zen Michael also talks about the power of music for finding calm.
absolutely. He talks about how certain melodies can actually quiet the mind.
Yeah.
He specifically mentions the Plum Village Choir. Have you ever heard of them?
I have. Their music is so incredibly peaceful.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
He actually links to a video of them singing Namo Avalokiteshvara.
Oh, wow.
I have to admit, I don't understand the words, but it doesn't even matter.
It's the feeling it evokes, right?
Exactly.
It just has this calming effect even if you don't understand the lyrics.
And he points out that even the singers themselves seem to embody this calm, joyful energy.
Yeah.
It's contagious.
It really is. And speaking of techniques that can have a really profound impact on your energy, Zen Michael also delves into the power of breath work,
Okay.
specifically alternate nostril breathing.
I've heard of alternate nostril breathing, but I've never actually tried it. How does it work?
It's pretty simple. You alternate breathing through each nostril, using your fingers to gently close off one side at a time.
Okay.
Zen Michael actually provides really clear instructions in the book.
I love how practical he is.
Yeah,
It's not just about the what of the technique, but the how as well.
exactly.
But why is alternate nostril breathing so effective?
Well, without getting too scientific, it has to do with the way it impacts our nervous system.
Okay.
It helps to regulate our breathing, which in turn helps to calm the nervous system. And when our nervous system is more balanced, we naturally feel calmer, more centered.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to have to give that a try.
You should.
And speaking of things that can throw our nervous systems out of whack,
Hmm.
Zen Michael talks a lot about the importance of setting boundaries with technology.
Oh, yeah.
Specifically, like turning off those phone notifications.
Yes. And he emphasizes that it's not about disconnecting from technology altogether.
Right.
It's about reclaiming control over our attention.
Which can be so hard these days.
I know, it's so true.
It's like we're constantly bombarded with notifications, emails, messages.
It's exhausting.
It is exhausting.
It really is. And Zen Michael, he speaks from experience here. He shares his own struggles with feeling tethered to his phone and how liberating it felt to just create some distance.
Yeah.
He even tells this great story about how he accidentally left his notifications turned off after a presentation.
Oh, I remember that story.
And he ends
He ended up feeling calmer than he had in ages.
Yes.
And realized that those constant notifications were actually a major source of stress for him.
It's a good reminder that sometimes the simplest changes can make a world of difference.
Totally.
And speaking of changing our perspective, Zen Michael also talks about the importance of viewing challenging situations from a wider lens.
What does he mean by that?
Well, he suggests asking yourself 3 questions when you're facing a difficult situation.
Okay.
Will this matter in the long run? Is this important in my priorities? And is this important compared to other people's problems?
Those are really powerful questions.
Right.
They help you step back from the immediacy of the situation and see it from a more objective perspective. It's like zooming out to get the bigger picture.
Exactly. And sometimes that shift in perspective is all it takes to diffuse the stress and find a sense of calm.
So it's not about pretending that the problem doesn't exist.
Right.
It's about choosing how much mental and emotional energy we're going to give it.
Precisely. And this idea of shifting perspective also applies to personal growth.
Okay.
He argues that it's not about forcing ourselves to change overnight, but about cultivating those positive qualities over time.
It's like that Zen story he tells about the martial arts student who's so eager to master his craft
Right.
that he ends up prolonging the process.
Exactly. It's a good reminder that sometimes slowing down is actually the fastest way to get where we want to go.
That resonates with me on a deep level.
Mm.
I'm definitely someone who likes to rush the process sometimes.
Well, Zen Michael would probably encourage you to approach that tendency with a bit more. Exactly. And he offers this really powerful practice to help us cultivate that sense of inner peace even amidst life's challenges. Loving kindness meditation.
I've heard of loving kindness meditation, but to be honest, I find it really challenging.
It can be.
Yeah.
It's essentially about cultivating feelings of compassion and goodwill, not just towards others, but towards ourselves as well.
And that's the tricky part for me. It's easy to send loving kindness to those I love, but what about those who have hurt me or even myself when I'm struggling?
You hit on a really key point. It's about extending that same compassion and acceptance to everyone, even those who are difficult to love, including ourselves.
That's a tall order.
It is, and Zen Michael acknowledges that he provides some really helpful phrases to use during this practice, and he emphasizes that it's okay to start small. Maybe focusing on sending loving kindness to yourself first, then gradually expanding your circle of compassion.
So it's about building that muscle of compassion over time.
Exactly, and it's through practices like loving kindness meditation that we begin to tap into this deeper sense of peace that's not dependent on our external circumstances.
Which is something he talks a lot about, the idea that, we're not in control of everything.
Right. True peace, he argues, comes from surrendering to what is from accepting the things we can't change.
It's about finding that place of peace within, regardless of our external circumstances.
And he illustrates this beautifully by sharing this quote from Ram Dass.
Oh, man, Ram Dass just had such a way with words, What was that quote again?
He said, in the midst of all this, I found that joy and peace are available in each moment if we can just open to them.
Wow, talk about finding peace within, regardless of your external circumstances.
Right.
So powerful.
It really is. And Zen Michael goes on to say, do you realize that within you there's peace, wisdom, compassion, love, and joy.
Though he's reminding us that we already have everything we need to experience true peace. We just have to remember to look within. I don't know about you, but I've just found his approach so refreshing.
Me too. It's not about adding more to our already full plates, you know?
Right.
It's about finding those moments of calm in the midst of our everyday lives.
Exactly. And he's given us such a practical toolkit to do just that.
He has.
Whether it's incorporating mindful walking into our day, or using those mindful passwords, or exploring like the calming power of nature sounds, there are so many ways to weave these moments of peace into our lives.
And what I really appreciate is that he doesn't just tell us what to do, he explains why these techniques work,
Totally.
which makes them even more effective.
Absolutely. Understanding the why behind the what is key.
Yeah,
And it's something we've really tried to emphasize in this deep dive.
definitely.
We've only just scratched the surface of what Zen Michael offers in How to Be Calmer. But hopefully we've given you a taste of his unique approach and some practical tools that you can start using today.
Yeah, it's a journey.
It is.
It's a journey of self-discovery, and Zen Michael has given us a roadmap.
He is. So as we wrap up our deep dives into Zen Michael's How to Be Calmer, we'd love to leave you with this question. What resonated with you most from our exploration today? What one technique are you excited to try out in your own life? And remember, finding calm isn't about achieving some distant state of perfection. It's about embracing those small mindful moments that make up our days.
It's about recognizing that peace is always accessible, right here, right now, within each and every